Developing tonight, the controversial deputy who was on campus during February's school shooting in Florida is back in the headlines, declining to testify before a state commission investigating that tragedy. Scott Peterson's attorney suggests his client is not getting a fair shake and is now seeking the public's help to pay for his legal fees. In moments, we'll speak to the brother of one of the victims. But we begin with our correspondent Trace Gallagher reporting from our West Coast newsroom. Good evening, Trace.
Good evening, Ed. Not only did former school resource officer Scott Peterson ignore a subpoena and fail to show up at the state commission investigating the February shooting at Marjorie Stoneman Douglas High, he then turned around and sued the commission, hoping to quash the subpoena. Peterson's attorney came to the meeting, presented the lawsuit, and left without addressing the media, but later issued a statement accusing the commission of not acting as a, quote, neutral fact-finding body and saying it has, quote, succumbed to the not-so-thinly veiled personal agendas of the commission members. Max Schachter, who sits on the commission and whose son Alex was killed in the shooting, asked if Peterson could be held in contempt. State lawyers are now reviewing that, and commission member Ryan Petty, whose daughter Elena died in the attack, says Peterson is simply causing confusion and delaying the findings. As for Scott Peterson, he has not spoken publicly since he went on the Today Show back in June and said he went by the book. Watch.
I know I didn't violate any policy or procedure. I've been with the agency 32 years. I know the policies. I know the procedures. I communicated right on that scene. I did everything that I felt at the time was appropriate.
After Nicholas Cruz opened fire inside the high school, Peterson failed to enter the building and stood by a brick wall, claiming he didn't know where the shots were coming from Building 1200. But radio transmissions tell a different story. Listen.
I think we got shots fired. Hostile shots fired. 1200 building.
Seconds later, he said again on the radio, quote, we're talking about the 1200 building. Then he told first responders the shooter was on the second or third floor, but warned them to stay away. The father of Meadow Pollack, who died in the attack, has filed a wrongful death lawsuit against Scott Peterson. Listen.
Not only was he a coward, he prevented the other first responders from going inside the building where they could have saved other kids.
Attorneys for the Pollack family will depose Scott Peterson on Tuesday. Peterson's hearing to dismiss the Pollack lawsuit is December 12th. A GoFundMe page to fund Peterson's legal fees has not gotten any donations. Ed.
Trace Gallagher, appreciate that report. My next guest's beloved sister was killed in the attack. Meadow Pollack was shot 9 times. Her family is suing Peterson and others, as you just heard. Hunter Pollack is her brother and is joining me right now. Thank you, Hunter. I appreciate you coming in.
Thank you for having me, Ed.
What do you think, first of all, about Peterson being a no-show?
He didn't show because his lawyer knows he lied. He lied about where he was, what he heard, and what he did. But now he has no choice to show up to our deposition on Tuesday. And if he doesn't, he's entitled to be contempt of court. So we'll see him on Tuesday.
And when he told the Today Show that he did everything that was appropriate, what does that even mean?
He did everything that was appropriate to look out for himself. When he said that my sister was like a child to him, he blatantly lied on live television. He is the biggest embarrassment to police officers in the entire country. He's a coward. He put up a GoFundMe. Can you imagine? He's supposed to be asking for our forgiveness, not trying to raise money for legal fees. And if you actually go back to the GoFundMe page, they took it down because he had more hate comments than he did donations, and that's just embarrassing.
I understand how emotional the situation is. In that Today Show interview, he did say, I'm sorry for what happened. It doesn't sound like that's good enough, but do you think that was a first step when he apologized to your family and the other families?
No, as a fellow man, what we do when we're sorry is we apologize to each other's faces. It's been 9 months and he's failed to do so. Going on live TV and putting a pity story in front of the nation, it's not sincere. He had 9 months. Keep in mind, 9 months, and he's failed to acknowledge the 17 lives that were taken from him. He's hiding somewhere. He could go on TV all he wants, but we're waiting for the face-to-face apology.
Tell me about that lawsuit that your father has filed and what your family is seeking.
We're just seeking to expose him. This isn't about the money. This isn't about the fame. This is about making sure everyone that failed my beautiful sister is held accountable. because I'm pissed off because it's 9 months later and no one's been held accountable. So that's what we're seeking from this.
The shooter is obviously in prison. Who else needs to be held accountable? Sheriff Israel has also been under the microscope. He's still in power as well.
Yep, Sheriff Israel needs to go. He failed to fix the radio failures from Fort Lauderdale. He hired inadequate people to highly ranked positions like Jan Jordan, the captain, who other officers said was ineffective during the shooting. And he failed to require his SROs to go to active shooting training. So now, with the help of DeSantis, we're looking to get rid of Israel come 2019.
So you think...
And then we need to hold our superintendent accountable, too.
Because Ron DeSantis, we believe, has now been elected governor, you believe he's going to hold these officials accountable?
Governor-elect Ron DeSantis knows what went wrong. He knows. He's talked to my family on multiple occasions. And yes, when he is in office in 2019, we are going to drain the swamp of Broward County. Right now, I'm ashamed to live there. It is the laughingstock of the entire country. And me, my father, we want to fix it. We want to make sure Broward County is not full of corruption. For example, I'm a registered Republican in Broward County. I don't even know if my vote counted in the past election. I have friends who served in the military who don't know if their votes counted from absentee ballot. And we need to fix all of this. We need to clean this mess up.
Hunter, meanwhile, as you know, the shooter, I don't even want to give his name, the killer in this case, he's somehow registered to vote in Broward County. How does that make you feel?
It's sickening because this would have been my sister's first election, and due to her being shot 9 times by this kid, she's not able to vote, and he is. So that right should have been taken away from him, but it wasn't. So the sheriff has to give permission for the supervisors of elections office to go in there and register them, and that's just blatantly disgusting.
Hunter Pollock, we can obviously hear the pain in your voice tonight. We grieve with you.
Yep, I'm angry.
We certainly hope your family finds some peace in the days ahead. Thanks for joining us tonight.
Thank you for having me.
Okay. All right.